This turkey has been smoked and then deep fried in smoked tallow. It is the best turkey I've ever made. Let me show you how it's done. Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist Barbecue and happy Thanksgiving. Today, we're cooking turkey, but we're gonna do it a little bit differently than I think you've probably seen it done before. We're gonna be doing it in two parts. First, we're gonna smoke it, and then we're gonna deep fry it in tallow so we get smoky, juicy, and crispy turkey. Stick around, we'll show you how. All right, first step is brine your turkey. Any kind of bucket will work. This one is food safe, and I got it just to test it out. Regardless, our turkey is in here. It's been brining. I'll include the recipe for the brine in the description below. So if you guys want to recreate it, it's not super complicated. Salt, brown sugar, some oranges, some onions, some garlic, some herbs. Not super complex. So I'm gonna get this turkey out, I'm gonna get it dry, and then we're gonna get it on the smoker. So here we have our turkey. We patted it dry because we don't want the skin to kind of boil. We want the skin to dry out and get crispy. We're gonna do that in part by drying it off before we put it in the smoker. And then by deep frying it, we're gonna get crispy skin. But I need to maintain a good knowledge of the temperature inside this bird, both in the smoker and in the deep fryer. In the smoker, it's difficult because of 1/4-inch thick steel. In the deep fryer, it's difficult because it's in ripping hot oil, and trying to get in there with a probe might be a little difficult. But the RFX wireless has no problem with 1/4-inch thick steel, has no problem if you're putting it in a deep fryer or a pressure cooker or anything like that. And I want to thank Thermoworks for sponsoring today's video. I've been using Thermoworks products for years. I was using Thermoworks before I ever worked with them in any kind of professional capacity. If the relationship ended tomorrow, I would still be using Thermoworks because it's simply the best product on the market. The ThermoPen 1 is the best digital instant read thermometer out there, period. The second best is the old model, just the regular ThermoPen Mark IV. So I have no problem recommending Thermoworks products and the RFX wireless in particular. Unlike other probes that use common Bluetooth frequencies, the RFX wireless uses a lower frequency, which means a longer wavelength, which in practical terms means a greater range, and it can go through barriers much more easily than the usual frequencies that they use to communicate between a wireless probe and the receiver. In this case, this gateway can monitor dozens of these probes. So it doesn't matter if you're cooking 30 or 40 things at once. Guess what? One gateway can hold all that information, and it goes directly to your phone. With all that being said, Thermoworks is doing extra special deals that they don't do very often, considering Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all those things. So if you've been holding off on getting one of these Thermoworks products, now is the time. And in the description, I'm gonna put links to a bunch of different products. So if there's something you've been holding out for, now's the time to act, because they're doing a great deal. And with Thermoworks product, their warranty backs them up. And if you ever have any issues, you call their customer service, and you're gonna talk to somebody in Utah who's gonna be able to walk you through whatever issues you might have. So not only is it a better product with better customer service and a better warranty, it's the best deal you're gonna find all year. So check out the description. If you ever thought about getting a wireless thermometer, or maybe you've gotten some other competing brands in the past and it just didn't maintain a connection because you have a 1/4-inch thick offset smoker, well, guess what? That's no longer a problem with the RFX wireless. So it has my highest recommendation, and I think you're gonna get good results. That being said, it's time to insert it. So this thin line is the minimum immersion line. The thick line is the recommended immersion line. So I'm gonna put this all the way in, and I want to get to the thickest part of the breast. I want this end, even though there are 4 different probes here, I want to get this end to the center of the breast because that's what's going to be the lowest in temperature. And so when I'm smoking, I'm not really trying to finish it. What I'm trying to do is get good smoke flavor and good color. But I want to make sure that I'm not overcooking anything. I don't want to, in the process of trying to get good color, take the breast to 180 degrees. It'll be overcooked, it'll be dry, it's not what I'm after. I also want to keep a good track on what temperature the breast is, because that'll give me an idea about the legs and the thighs and all those other things. So let's get this inserted. Now, because we brined this bird, and because we're going to be deep frying it, we don't need to season it with anything. And with the deep frying, if we had any kind of herbs, they would burn in the deep frying process. It's already got salt in it because the salt splits apart into its constituent ions. So sodium ions and chloride ions that they can make their way through the meat, and so you can get a great seasoning all the way through the meat by using a brine. So it's a very simple way that's extremely effective. Now, if we were planning to finish this thing entirely on the smoker, we'd expect a much longer cook, and we would have to do some things to make sure that nothing dries out. Injecting with butter, or injecting with some kind of oil, or injecting with some kind of fat, or even with some kind of phosphate solution in order to maximize the moisture you perceive when you take a bite of this breast. But because we're only doing smoke at a low temperature for a short period of time, we're not going to dry anything out. We're just going to put on a great level of smoke flavor and a base level of color. At that point, we're going to pull this out and then drop it in the deep fryer with smoked beef tallow. So let me get this turkey on, and then we'll talk about that. So the way we're going to set this up for the initial stage of the cook is about 2/3 closed on the damper. We're looking for a temperature on the gauge between 200 and 225. If you're cooking on a pellet grill, I'd maybe say between 180 and 200 would be about right for this purpose. And then we're going to burn a smoky fire. So we want low, sustained, nice and smoky, but always in open flame. Let me show you the wood we're using. Far and away the most common question I get asked for any video I produce is, what kind of wood were you using? Texas post oak today. Usually I'll use local oak or sometimes pecan, but whatever wood is your favorite wood is the right wood. If you love smoking with apple, use apple. If you like cherry, use cherry. If you're like me and you love pecan and you love post oak, well, those are great options too. But I would stay away from mesquite. It can probably get just a little bit too smoky. So all that being said, let's get this fire going. All right, now here's the secret weapon. Wagyu beef tallow. What this is going to do is provide what I think is the best flavor you can possibly get on a turkey skin. And in case you're worried that we're not going to get enough smoke on it because we're only smoking in the beginning and then we're going to be deep frying, we're going to smoke the tallow as well. So I'm going to put this on here. And one of the reasons why we're smoking the tallow is because there are going to be some smoke compounds that are going to be water soluble. So they'll dissolve in a turkey breast, say. And there are other compounds that are going to be fat soluble. This is the difference between polar and non-polar compounds. So by putting the Wagyu tallow in the smoker to get smoky, we're absorbing a spectrum of smoke flavor that's going to be non-polar. And so when we use that as the frying liquid, we're going to have smoke flavor infused throughout the entire liquid so that we're adding smoke flavor even while we're deep frying. So we get smoke flavor from the initial smoking phase as well as the deep frying phase. So to me, it's the way to get the best of both worlds. You get all that flavor you want from Wagyu tallow, plus the smoke in the tallow, and you get the crispy skin, all of it working together, hopefully to make some kind of symphony of flavor for your Thanksgiving. You know what you're thinking? That's a lot of beef tallow. And if you're thinking, oh, well, buying a bunch of Wagyu tallow is expensive. Well, if you take the fat trim from your barbecue cooks and you render that down, you can make your own tallow. And if you render it at a low temperature, you get a similar fatty acid profile to the Wagyu tallow. So you don't have to do it this way. I'm just saying this is the best way I found to do it. Okay, so we're going to close up the solution XL, and we're going to wait to get some good color on the turkey. And I think you're going to see that the beef tallow goes from a very clear, pale yellow to a smokier, darker liquid by the time we add it to the fryer to fry this thing and finish it off. All right, guys, it's been right at about 2 hours at this point, and we are at 115.8 degrees on our RFX wireless probe. So my goal was about 120 degrees, and the reason I wanted to do 120 degrees and not higher and not lower is because I want to maximize the smoke flavor while giving it enough time in the fryer to make sure I get that skin crispy. Because if I took it to, say, 150 in the smoker and then fried it for the last 2 minutes or 3 minutes to get it to 160, it wouldn't have enough time to crisp the skin. So let's take a look at the turkey right now. And I think you guys are going to understand what I'm saying when we take a look at the skin. Again, we've been cooking low and smoky, so we haven't had high temperatures to really crisp the skin. So to make this work, we're going to put it in the deep fryer, have a lot of that heat transferring from the oil to the skin to really get it crispy. So let's take a peek. And based on how this cook has been going, we know it's going to hit 120 soon. I'm going to get that tallow, put it in this turkey fryer, and we'll get that heating and get it up to about 360 degrees or so. All right, here we've got our turkey. We have good color starting to form there. We have some smoke flavor on this bird, but the skin still kind of feels rubbery. It needs more time. You can see that this tallow is now fairly dark because it's picked up a decent amount of smoke flavor. So I'm gonna get this tallow, put it in the fryer, and then we'll drop the turkey in just a second. Now it's time to get the turkey. And by the way, this turkey fryer, this whole setup, I think was like 75 bucks at my local Bass Pro Shop. So nothing fancy, standard stuff. Go to your home. Da, 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 da. All right, let's light this burner. One of the benefits of having the chud table is I got burners right here that are both pretty powerful. You guys might hear my 6-month-old giving you some sweet stylings in the background. But she is going to be indirectly fed by this turkey too. So we heated our beef tallow up to about 375 degrees, and then I turned the burner off. There are two reasons for this. One, I want the oil to start off with enough heat because I don't have a long time to crisp the skin. And then number two, the reason I did it that way is the burner is now off in case there's any tallow that flows over, I have some kind of huge disaster. There's no open flame that's going to turn it into a huge fireball. If you're curious to know what can happen, you can look up those videos on the internet. They're everywhere. I don't recommend doing that. So we have blazing hot oil and we have the burner turned off. Now it's time to put the turkey in. I will say that I'm not a fan of this turkey stand that they sell at Bass Pro, but you got to do what you got to do. Slowly but surely. That is how that's done. All right, we got the turkey in there. We got the burner back on. We're at 350 and the internal temp right now is 121.7. We're monitoring it and we're getting updates, so the RFX is having no issues with that at all. And so we'll probably check back in about 20 minutes when we hit about 155 degrees in the breast. Now, here's an important thing for you all to know. Both time and temperature make a difference when it comes to food safety. So, if you take a turkey breast to 165, all the microorganisms are killed immediately. But if you take it to 155 for enough time, you also get the same kind of effect. So, I'll put a link in the description for like the USDA chart where you can see the time and temperature to achieve the right level of food safety. So I'm probably not going to take this breast all the way to 165 degrees. I'll probably take it to 155 and then expect several degrees of carryover that will accomplish the same kind of thing. So I might pull it at 150, 155. It kind of depends a little bit on how it looks, but we'll be monitoring the temperature the whole time so we can see if we've hit our numbers to make sure that this is nice and safe. All right, we hit 150 internal. I'm going to pull this out. Remember, like I said, I'll include this chart. You can make your own decisions. But I'm taking it to 150, and I think it'll go up to 155. And if you keep it at 155 for about a minute, you get the same level of food safety as taking it to 165 for a split second. So I'm going to pull this out. Oh, geez, Marge. That is looking good. I'm going to take out this RFX probe. Make sure you put it all the way into the immersion line, and it had no issues. Put it in the deepest part of the breast, and because we were tracking it even after we removed it from the deep fryer, we realized that it went all the way up to 160. So I have no food safety concerns about this at all. But first, before we jump into the breast, let's start with the leg. Ooh, it smells smoky and good. One of the things that bugs me is when I go to Disney World or Disneyland, they have the smoked turkey legs. And I've tried making them in a smoker the regular way, and they're just never the same. This is the first one that has that kind of smell. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're baking. I don't know if they're smoking then baking. But this is the first one that has that kind of smell. Ooh, it smells great. My wife slash camera person will get the first crack at this.
Oh, good.
Erica said it's the best turkey I've ever made. And that she said it so quickly made me question the quality of the turkeys I've made in the past. Anyway, so I haven't even tried it yet. You can see we got a smoke ring on here, so it's red right there, and the redness goes away. This skin actually kind of pulled back when I put it in the fryer. But I'm excited to try this. Let's see. Oh, this is the best turkey I've ever made. Man. All right, let me try one of these guys down here. Oh, that is so good. Smoky, juicy, crispy on the outside. It's everything I want in my turkey. But now we got to check the breast. As you guys can see, it's obviously completely dried out. I don't know if you guys can see all that, but that was a joke. But what I would tell you guys to do if you're going to serve this is come up to the sternum, make a cut directly down, remove the breast, and then slice the breast against the grain. Most people, they'll get to carve a turkey and they'll just take off a little chunk. If you want to do it that way because you like how it looks more, totally fine. But if you want the cuts to be as tender as possible, remove the breast, cut across the grain, and then you'll have what you want. But for this, I'm just going to take one bite, and I want to get some skin in it. By the way, if you guys want to know if we got the skin crispy or not, if you listen. I chose the wrong angle for that. All right, so this is from the outside where it's going to be the most dried out. As you guys can see, it is not dried out at all. Juicy, it's well seasoned because of the brine. Let's see how it tastes. Oh. Not even close. This is the best one I've ever made. Let's try another piece. Man, that is really, really good. I couldn't be any happier with that. And you guys saw the whole process. Very simple. Brine, smoke, deep fry and smoked tallow. And you get really nice results. I like this level of color. If you want it a little lighter, you can smoke it for less time. If you want more smoke flavor and a little bit darker turkey, you can smoke it for longer and fry it for a shorter period of time. But then you might sacrifice the crispy skin. For me, this is exactly how I want my turkey. This level of salt, this level of smokiness, this level of moisture. And if you guys try it, let me know what you think in the comments. If you tried it before and you had great results, bad results, okay results, let me know in the comments. I'm always trying to learn. So anything I can learn from the comments, I definitely appreciate. But happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on all social media at Mad Scientist Barbecue. I'll see you guys next time.